Yo, this is Javi from Vulgar Display Gaming, and here I am bringing you the weekly roundup of all the music-related news. Right off the bat, and this is pretty shocking, honestly. I really wasn't expecting this to wake up to this news at all. Slipknot have decided to part ways with Jay Weinberg. He's been with the band for 10 years. He is incredible live. He plays pretty much just like Joey. It's insane. Like, and obviously as a fan of the band, you could see that like his play style is not easy to mimic. So the fact that like they even found somebody like him to even replicate that stuff to a T is pretty crazy. But the fact that like now he's no longer in the band due to creative differences, Slipknot have made an official post on it. Just it sucks because he was really good, and I really want to know his side of the story because, you know, both he so far only the band has made a statement on it. So I guess we'll see if he decides to do it. He's usually pretty vocal on social media, so hopefully we get like some sort of comment on it, and hopefully it's, you know, it's a mutual thing and not like something you know, like the band decided like he wasn't worth it or anything like that. That's just me thinking the worst case, because it doesn't make any sense, really. It really doesn't make any sense at all. So hopefully things work out for him. He finds another band, or he continues doing what he does, because it would suck to lose him. And yeah, hopefully we hear from him very soon in a different project. And then next we have Lamb of God. They just finished their boat tour, or their boat cruise. I'm super jealous that everybody who actually got to go to it. Super jealous. But anyway, they announced the starting lineup for the next one. Right off the bat, we have Dethklok, Chimaira, Poison the Well as like the big names. More are at the gates: Soulfly, Exodus, Napalm Death, Corrosion of Conformity, After the Burial, Currents, Bleeding Through, Unearth, I Hate God, Frozen Soul, and Unity TX. So far, that lineup is already sounding real nice. Maybe not as stacked as like this year's, but they can easily add a few more names and that would change it. But not to like diminish this lineup in its own right, because like at the gates, Soulfly, Exodus, Napalm Death, that's already like a killer lineup in its own right for me personally. But the rest of the bands like I Hate God and Frozen Soul are also a really good time. So I'm hoping, you know, I have enough money saved up this time around for this year, but that'll be time for tell. But yeah, if you missed out this year, I'm sure you've seen like clips and stuff, highlights of people like having a blast there. So don't be like me and miss out again. So a band finally got into the Rock Hall of Fame, and it's none other than Rage Against the Machine. You know how many other big metal bands, big rock bands have not been actually inducted into this thing yet, surprisingly. But yeah, Rage Against the Machine finally got into this. For whatever reason, maybe it's because the other band members were doing their own thing, but Tom Morello was the only one at the awards show to like accept the induction, which is pretty weird. But hey, the fact that they got into it, you know, it's pretty huge for them. They've earned this right years ago, just like many other bands, right? But the fact that like they have finally received it is really cool. And the person who like inducted them is actually Ice-T from Body Count, and you know, Ice-T's solo stuff too. So that also must have been pretty cool to see. I have not seen the rest of the show myself, but the fact that Rage Against the Machine actually got on there, it's real sweet to hear. That's pretty much all I have on the news front this time around. Not much else has happened. So now I'm just gonna give you some cool recommendations that came out this year. This week. So right off the bat, Suffocation. I believe it's been 6 years since their last album, and this is their first album with their new singer, Ricky Myers. If you've been watching this band live for like maybe the past 10 years or so, maybe a little less, but like around that time frame, you've noticed that Frank has not been touring with the band, even though he was like still counted as an official member. He even came out on their last album, but he really didn't tour with them at all. And that is due to the fact because now he's got a new a job that doesn't really allow him to do the touring that, you know, he used to be able to do with the band. So the band at first was really cool with it, being able to like just, you know, have him as an official member for recording or like one-off shows. But now the time has come that like he just couldn't do it anymore. So they were cool with it. They parted ways pretty well. And then Ricky Myers, he's been one of the, it's been like 3 or 4 vocalists that I've been doing the live vocals for that band. So he officially became a member a couple years back, a little bit right after the 2017 album that they did. And he's been kicking ass ever since. I've seen them 3 times with him, and they sound killer live. So I was already, you know, pretty sold on this album gonna be good, you know, regardless of Frank being in the album or not. Spoiler alert: Frank is still in this album. He's actually on the last song, because the last song is a re-recording of their second album. Because we all know that like that album did not sound good, so they've been re-recording a song from that album on each of their newer albums, and this is the last one, so we'll probably be the last time we'll hear Frank on the Suffocation album, probably. Overall, you know, if you know Suffocation, they are consistent, they are always heavy, and this album's no exception, so definitely check that out. Next is Dying Wish, The Symptoms of Survival. This one is a lot more straightforward. This is their second album. Their first album was really good. If you are a fan of At the Gates worship, early, you know, 2000s metalcore, like Killswitch Engage and stuff, this is definitely gonna be up your speed. Like I love this album. They really upped the ante in every way. They didn't really change much of their sound from their previous one, but like they sound much more like driven this time around. Definitely a lot more clean vocals, which is always nice because she's got a really nice voice, both her clean singing and her screams. So definitely check that out as well. Riffs for days. Next, you know, Mark Whalen, right? Of Fuming Mouth has finally beat cancer, so that was really cool to see. And he was like super eager to like just like, hey, can I go on tour? Can I record music again? And so he finally got to tour. I managed to catch them live with Black Dahlia earlier this year. So and he looks very just like he did before he got cancer. So like I'm glad to see that he's doing well again. And now they released a new album, Last Day of Sun. And if it's anything like the last album, you know, it's very, very dense riffing, death metal riffing, with some hardcore sensibilities. So I can't wait to see this live, because I'm sure it's gonna kick ass. They already kicked ass with their previous material, but this is gonna be insane. This is definitely a at the very least so far. I've only heard it once. I usually listen to an album more than one time to like get a general feeling for it. But this is definitely one I'm gonna revisit pretty often, just because like the first time around it was like real sick, and I'm sure there's gonna be like at least a top 15, top 10 album for me towards the end of the year. Next album, Cursed Mortality by Carnation. This is I believe this is their third or fourth album. And this time around, aside from their Swedish death metal sound that you know, this member worship and stuff that they did before, they started including a lot more. There's a couple of clean vocal passages and some more mellower moments here, but they use it very not sparingly. They use it quite a bit, but not to distract from like their previous sound. And it's really good. They even got Andy LaRock from King Diamond fame to do some leads on it, and it kicks ass. So I hope, since they are an international band, I hope they get a tour pretty often to the States, because just like every other international band that I want to see, they haven't toured the US on any other album cycles. So hopefully that changes, because like it's really frustrating that these bands release kick-ass albums like Sodom and, you know, Carnation, and like nope, still haven't hit the States yet. So I'm hoping, well, Sodom is coming next year, so I'm gonna try and catch them. But for sure, Carnation, Evil, a bunch of other bands that aren't from the States, you know, hopefully get to catch them soon. But yeah, this is definitely one worth checking out, so please do. I will also, real quick shout out, if you're a fan of Slayer and sludgy like metal goodness, you know, you should definitely check out this band called Slower. So it's basically like a band consisted of members of FU MANCHU, MONOLORD, and they kick ass. They, you know, we all know Slayer is known for their speed and just extremities, but like the fact that like all these members are like, hey, you know, Slayer's pretty dope, but let's make him slow and sludgy, and it kicks ass. It's super heavy, and like the first song that he posted is like 10 minutes long, so that should give you a clear indication of like how do you make a 4-minute song into 10 minutes, but it does not waste any time. It's awesome, so please check that out. And that's pretty much all the news I have on the music side of things. We do have a Discord. It should be set up by the time this video is done, so definitely, you know, we're gonna add some sections where you can also recommend your own albums or your own movies, your own video games, anything, you know, that will like, that you would think that we will be interested in. So please post your recommendations and just interact with us, you know. Interaction is super key, and like I love discovering new things, whether it's like just gaming, video games, music, even just other forms of art. I'm always down to listen or watch something new, so please do. Until next time, take it easy, guys. Later.